Everybody's all right? So, Live Thursday. I'm Butterfly. Just let me have a bit of a. I've been having a play with the. Everything's okay. So this will be part 2. So I'm working in my little book of watercolors, and I'm using, just working my way through this larger page of, I think this is the room with all the things in them. So that's the page we're on at the minute. I'm working on the bookcase, and I'm working with the peerless. I think I'm just going to stick with peerless because I can get a watercolor effect with just the Derwent #1 water brush, a baby wipe or a face wipe, and there's no mixing of colors or anything else. So I think that's okay. Just bear with me 2 seconds because I've just now, whoopsie, haven't done that yet. Might not let me in because I've. Let me see if I can just take that away. I was using a different laptop. Unfortunately. Oh, hi V, welcome to Money's Designs. Yes, I'm going to have it's a bit of an odd day today. There'll be some digital art and digital painting. Was going to work in the Pride and Prejudice, but decided against it. I've done a bit of digital work. I just have to tweet because I got cut off. Something happened, so I've gone back. So bear with me 2 seconds, see if we can just give a bit of a tweet. And we've got the kittens are growing, but I couldn't go yesterday. Some really sad news, but I haven't told. I can't find what I'm looking for. Don't know why. No, don't want to do that either. Oh, thank you, V. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Sorry. Trying to get the tweet thing going. So I'm working with the peerless because it's really easy. I'm just picking a bit of paint and there's no pressure on the hands because they're strapped up at the wrist. So I've got my I'm doing my adamant impersonation at the minute, and of course lots of people won't know who that is. I've got both wrists in splints, so picking your nose is not an option this today. So we've got peerless. These are my original colors. I really like them. just flicking. So we've got some blacks. This is the there's 3 here. I haven't put the new ones. I've got 2 other new packs. I've got another new pack that has hair color. This doesn't. I bought these about maybe 5 years ago now. These are the original ones. I've revamped 2 of them. But as you can see, where the dots are, I'll get a pale color, and where it's dark, it's pure color. So we've got some nice greens, peacocks, reds, some yellows. So this is, I think there's 45 colors. There's the original set that is in the yellow book of the Peerless watercolors, and then there's also the bonus pack, and there's also the vintage pack for tinting sepia photographs, and I think there's five colors in that one as well. So they give me the ochre ones. Now I have again bought them again, but I've also bought a hair. So we've got blondes, brunettes, and things like that, but they're not in this particular set. So this is in my little book of watercolors, which has got all my squares, because at the moment that's what I'm using. So thanks for stopping by. Oh, so V says she's found Pride and Prejudice for €3.50. Oh, wow, that's pretty good. I can't remember where I found mine. I think it was in WH Smith's, but I think the girls bought me it for my birthday. So I'm getting a nice watercolor effect by just touching a bit of color, and it really is just a tiny bit of color. So I'm leaving the bookcase and I'm going to do the book. So we're going to do this row next. I did have extra bits of color, and rather than get rid of it, I've kind of put it somewhere else. But I don't want really strong colors, but I want a nice little watercolor effect. And you can get that with this with little effort at all. So I kind of like that. I mean, that lovely highlight on that book there took a minute. Oh, thank you, V. She says she's made the little book of watercolors. Yeah, I'm hoping, I want Derwent to bring this out, because they could have, we can get 1,000 squares. 1,000 squares of color from Derwent would be 10,000 shades. And that in a 21st century watercolor travel book would be amazing. So I'm still working on that. But it was originally Derwent's idea, so nobody else can copy it because it's Derwent's. It was a gentleman called David Cook scribbled squares of color on the back of his sketchbook, and that's all I've done. And he did that in the 1980s. So and it was Rexall Pencil Company, which is the Derwent watercolor pencil company. So nobody else can pinch that idea. It belongs to Derwent's. They just haven't done it yet. So I need a color now. Let's have a look. I think I'm going to start with that. I did like that. I love my deep purple blue. It's a really nice color. It's almost like a French ultramarine. There's a cobalt blue, and then we go to these turquoisey blues. I don't think I've got a turquoisey blue. I do like the vintagey kind of colors for books, but again, you know, this is just playing with color for therapy today. This is for therapy, so we can kind of go for it if we want. And I've got a tiny highlight there. I think that should really be a gold color. So I do have a golden yellow, and there is a tiny bit of blue on there. So, and it's feeding time at the zoo. So it's dulled that gold down a little bit. So I kind of like that. Again, I've got that little highlight. If he says I'd buy that in a heartbeat too. Yes, I think so. And I love the idea that Derwent would have like a little kind of file book, and you just buy the ones you run out of. So it in a clippy kind of thing, you can put them how you want, but postage would be next to nothing, because you're just buying the middle bit once you've got your Derwent little file, almost like a file of facts of color. And I kind of like that. So we have to work on Derwent from there. tea rose red. I love my tea rose red. So we're going to have a little bit of tea rose red. So if I do the side of this book here, and there's, again, no real stress on your hands. I can't say there's none, but I have a broken wrist. So everything I do is a bit kind of thingy, but very little stress on your hands. So that's quite nice. Again, I didn't catch much colour on that. So peacock green, we'll have a little green book in between there. And I just like the idea of just a little tiny bit of colour. Really shouldn't go in there too much, but again, I've got a bit of colour on there. Just going to take off that stark white. And then we could have a turquoise book here. And if I'd have started at the bottom, gone to the top, I would have had a nice highlight effect. There's a really nice red here, and I haven't labelled it properly. But it's a kind of a dark red, and I do kind of like that. So I'm going to put that in there. It's almost a viridian. So it's an orange red, but I do kind of like that. I'm going to touch deep yellow for the next one. And I had a tiny little bit of that colour on there. And this is all I do, just flick and choose a colour and then just kind of go for it. And again, I've just got that bit of dark on there. So just going to stroke that onto there. Stroke that onto there. Let's go for an ochre colour for this one. We can do the boat. Again, it doesn't want to be too pale, that. So I might just put a little bit of cobalt blue on there. Let's just see. And then it's going to be a bit dark, but that's fine. Just take that off there. And while we're here, just put a little bit of ochre on the boat. And that postcard's done. Bit of sticky tape. End of a book on there. Oh, and I kind of like those colours together. I wouldn't have normally put them together, but so that's that page. And then moving down, we've got this one. So we've got a jam jar. So again, we've got that ochre colour because we want that for sand. And I know the light's coming from that side, but then we've got that little bit on top. I have some really sad news today. We took the bunny to be neutered, and unfortunately, he had a bad reaction to the anaesthetic. And I don't think my daughter's watching this. She doesn't normally watch me. I'm live. I'm waiting for her to come downstairs, but I didn't have the heart to tell her last night. So that's going to be sad. So the little black and white bunny rabbit, unfortunately, didn't make it. So she's going to be. It's going to be a bit of a sad day today. So we rescued him because he said he'd bitten a girl guide. Well, he never bit any of us ever. So I think one of the girl guides must have nipped him, but he wouldn't have been able to be sold. So he was hidden in the back of the shop. So we rescued him a year ago. So unfortunately, it's going to be a bit sad when she wakes up today. I hope to goodness she's not watching me. I don't think she is. So little Wesley, the little black and white bunny, looked like Poirot with his moustache. He passed away last night. So again, that's not going to be a nice day today. So hubby's in a meeting, but I do have the girls at home, so it could get a bit noisy today, so we'll see what happens. And I do like that, but I'm just going to pinch a little bit more because I like that. So again, if you've got a bit of colour, just bob it somewhere, preferably not where you've already been, because again, it's a nice thick page is this one, but you don't really want to be rubbing too much. But you can get away with a little bit with the Joanna books. They are quite good quality books. If I ever bring my book out, that's the book kind of page that I would like. I think we're going to have a cobalt blue now. Do the back page first. And I must have had a little bit of that green on because it's obviously picked up that. I've got to leave that because that was a bit wet. So I'm going to leave that. Get this lovely highlight on this side here. And then I shall go back in with cobalt blue and match that up. But I'm not doing it now because it's wet. Again, we can just kind of, if you've got a bit of blue, dab it into the greens to change it slightly. And then just a hint of something over that, just to take the colour away. It's to get rid of the stark white. But back to my my red, and it does. I've labelled them all, but not that one. But you can see the colour on it is absolutely scrummy. Again, the tiniest pinprick, and the colour is wonderful. And this is what I love about the Peerless. You know, this is how I worked when hubby had his stroke and I had to sit on the stroke ward. Just touching, and of course, very quiet. It didn't have this rattle, but really quiet. Can't talk. You've got to be quiet. There's, you know, several other guys on the ward as well. And I just flicked and coloured. And I used 2 colours for the Peerless. And I did it one-handed, so it worked really well. Oh, Robin Egg Blue. I love Robin Egg Blue, which is a green. But I love Robin Egg Blue. Really nice. Again, there's a turquoise, butterfly wing, blue, and forget-me-not. And again, just picking up the tiniest little bit of colour. And that gives you the highlight. If you've got a lot of colour on here, you'd have to do a big space. And I want a little bit of highlight. I want a little bit. Oh, thank you, V. Thank you. Again, I'm going back to my red, and you can see the colour. Just if you touch where you've touched before, you get a paler version. If you go where it's kind of full on, and this is what these little light smudges are. This is all I've used, and I've used these so many times. There's so many. If you look on the oh gosh, sorry guys. If you look on YouTube under the playlist, you will see quite a lot of Peerless, and they've all been done from here. Haven't used the new ones, and these are all I've used in all of them. So you can see the pale little bits. The only one I did a lot of was the Tea Rose Red, and I've put a new one on, and the Forest Green, I think it was, the Grass Green. But there's still a lot of colour left on there, and that's the one that I did this page with here. Again, I bought Mythomorphia, not played in it, not coloured in it. And then when hubby was sent to A&E stroke with a stroke, I sat and did this page here, and it was one of the most peaceful works. And that's when it really dawned on me that art is for therapy. Colouring in is for therapy. Painting is not for therapy. Art is very stressful if you're an artist, but colouring in was designed for this. So all these flowers, and they're a little bit pinkier than it's showing up, but I don't want to play with the colour. And all from 2 colours. we did, and that's what I've used. So that has not been redone. That was all the leaves, and I used my tea rose red, which I've used for a lot of things, and there is still some colour left on that pad below, but I put a new one on, and it's very, very strong. But you can take it from its strongest to its palest. And basically all I did was I had the number 1 Derwent watercolour brush. I touched a colour and I filled it in. Then I went somewhere else, paler, paler, paler. And then I came back and did it paler and paler and paler until eventually it was the lightest of lights. And yet it's just one brush, one touch of colour in lots of different areas. So I'd work on 2 different roses or 3 paler. Where's the highlight? Where's the low light? Where's the middle? And that's all I did. Worked round, and then strongest here, then go to here, then go to here, and the inside of that rose would be dark, that would be dark, that would get paler, that would get paler, the top of that rose would be paler, but the top of this rose would be paler, and the top of that would be the palest. And that's how I worked. Strong, medium, 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 lighter, 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 lightest, lightest, lightest. And it's a very easy, simple way to work. And this is what I'm doing here. I'm getting the tiniest pinprick on the end of this brush, and it's the driest water brush there is. I love it. Not all of them will do when you touch, but I do activate the tip. If you push down, you get a lot of water, and I don't want that. So you'll see me just stroking the tip. And if I can do it with a broken wrist, you can do it if you've got pulley hands. There's no stress at all, just a little tiny little movement. I obviously couldn't do a huge thing, but I don't want to. I want little tiny watercolor effects. But if you were trying to get this effect with pencils, you'd have to do about 10 lots. So you've seen how it is really lovely and easy way to work. I've done this at hospital. I shut the book, and because of the plastic, it's not going to contaminate the other side. They call your name. It's wet. You shut the book. You put the lid on your paintbrush. You can twist it if you want to clean it. But these are quite good at self-cleaning. Put the lid on, and away you go. So I take this to the hospital every single time. And it's what I grabbed when I knew I couldn't read, didn't want to do concentrate on Scrabble or anything on my phone. So I grabbed my new book, and I grabbed this and a water brush. And of course the nurses didn't say anything because I'm holding hubby's hand. Everybody's quite stressed. We're trying to keep calm. And I was as cool as a cucumber. I was sitting in my wheelchair with this on my knee. This was on the bed, and I was just touching it and colouring it. And it works really well. Again, this is on a cushion tray. At the moment, I'm on a little table, rickety table on the sofa, but you can use this on a cushion tray, and you can just touch, flick, touch, even if you just bought the peerless. And the thing about the peerless is they're not very expensive, and yet the colours are kind of really there. 10 times near colour 2s. Really are very good, and you can get some beautiful effects with them. Sorry guys, a bit croaky, but I've only had 1 cup of tea yet this morning. Hubby left at 6:30, so I said to him, don't wake me up at 6:30. Please don't wake me up at 6:30. So this is perfect for small spaces, and that's why I chose this page to do today. So I've got 3 little books here, and I do try to kind of keep the books, you know, I might not want to do a bright purple one because I've got muted colours, but if you want to do bright purple ones, you can do that with these. I think there's a peacock somewhere. Let's see if I've got the peacock. Unfortunately, I don't have any thumbs. No, I don't think I have anything with peerless here. Oh, I did start one of the dragons with peel, I think. Very quick look in this one. Fortunately, I don't have any thumbs. I thought I'd done the two birds. There won't be a lot of rabbit trails today, guys. There won't be a lot of rabbit trails. This is peerless, I think. Oh, it could be hydrous. No, that's hydrous. But hydrous is in a bottle, so of course it's wonderful. And I do like the hydrous, but it's just the simplicity. I'm pretty sure this is peerless. No, I've written hydrous. I'm going to do a comparison between hydrous and peerless, and you can see the difference. I could have sworn I did a... It'll be the only one I didn't pick up today. There's two birds. Yeah, I'm just not going to be. There's two birds. And they're going to be in the only book that it's not about. This, and again, you get that beautiful pale highlight colour. So you can get lovely mottled, beautiful. I was starting at the top and working around. Again, there's a couple of videos with this one. Really simple to use, really easy. So they are quite good. But I am a bit of a Derwent nut. But these are one of my favourites, I have to say. Especially if you put them in a little book. So I think we shall go for this red again. And that Derwent watercolour brush just sits wet, waiting for you. So if we start down here, and of course it's a lovely fine point is this particular brush. Pick a bit of that colour up and move it, because it is a watercolour. They were originally designed to paint black and white photographs in the 1870s, I think. And I do believe somebody bought the house, and in the basement they found all the dyes. So these are dye-based, but they are very, very strong indeed. Exceedingly strong. So that's going to be kind of quite dark, that. But again, the light's coming from that front, so we can... So let's have a look. So we'll be putting a little bit more detail in, but not today. Today I want to get the basics down. Oh, it's okay, V. It is what it is. I did tell them about the broom. There's a broom across the floor, and I went into the downstairs loo, and I stepped over it when I went in, and I came out, and I just... So I'm doing an adamant impersonation at the minute. I've got splints. So my thumbs, I've got thumbs in there somewhere, but I always thought my thumbs were poorly anyway, but never mind. Have to laugh. I can be in the adamant now. When he did his adamant famous videos, when in the 80s, they used to have videos to go with their music. And I can now be on the adamant video. Prince Charming, I think it was. So that was a bit strong, although it said it was orange chrome. Again, you see the orange chrome, but look at this beautiful, rich orange color. So again, I can take that down there because this book would be dark actually because it's just hidden in there. And then we can kind of, it would have been better on a bigger book actually. I'd forgotten about the orange chrome, but what a beautiful colour that is. Absolutely gorgeous colour. A bit full on that. Now I've got orange somewhere else. I'm not going to waste it. I think I'm going to use it on this one here, look. And it's the same colour, but just look, it looks so different. And I really should be going horizontal because I'll go over the line, but it's fine. But again, we've gone from that colour to this colour. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I did manage to sit, and I did that portrait yesterday. So I went into digital art. So I'm going to do this page, and then I'm going to work digitally on my laptop, which is underneath here. Sorry, not my laptop, beg your pardon. On my iPad, I have Procreate, and I prefer ArtRage. Oh, sorry guys, but Procreate allows me to, I can still do a little bit on Procreate. So I've still got two fingers. So if so we've got that one, and I've been working in altering pages, and so this one, I love the fact that, oopsie, sorry guys, I love the fact that we can take a photograph with the iPad, and I can then upload it into Procreate. Oops. And then I think, right, what will happen first? Well, the windows will be broken, then the ceiling will fall through, and then the ivy will come in, and all the other things. And this is how I start. And I do this in my books as well. I have a couple of books that I started to alter, but I think for a few weeks it's going to be more digital. And so I can still do my altered books, and I kind of like that because that means I can look at a beautiful painting or a photograph in a book, and I'm not destroying it, because I'm still a bit of a wimp at destroying books. Again, I'm kind of playing with the little snowflakes as well, giving me just an idea where they're going to be. And then I had a play up here but didn't like it, having a bit of a play, and you'll see I love Procreate because you can go back. You can only back so many times. And then I start the ivy down here. And put highlights and lowlights. So it's by no means is it finished. Because I've put all highlights on it. And then what you do is you tone some of the highlights down, and then you darken them. So as we're kind of light is bouncing around these pillars, then the leaves will change. But this is just a very rough to give me an idea of what it's going to look like as a composition. And I would do that normally. So I'm still kind of playing. And it takes hours. It still takes a long time. It's not a quick thing. But again, I really like it because you can pinch and zoom and turn it round. So that's actually going to be quite good for me at the moment. At the moment. But I made the doctor laugh yesterday, and I said there were just this mouth talking. There'll be nothing left but just this mouth, but this mouth will be talking. And I will be painting with the mouth. Probably by that time, you could tell a computer how to paint, right? I want you to put all the leaves. I want white on one side and yellow on the other. So that would be the next thing, painting with your mouth, actually speaking rather than with a paintbrush. So it's still not nearly finished. I'm actually working in this area somewhere, I think. So that's what it, oh, there you go. You see, look, I'm still playing up here, working on the ivy, and then I let somebody else have a bit of a go with that. So that's that one, and Alfie's doing the thing. This one, I think I might have a go with this. This is going to take a long time, but I love the roof, and I can black out and leave these beautiful pillars. But look at the wrought iron gate at the front. Now I was having a play, but I need to take out all this, every scrap, and leave the wrought iron gate. And then the ivy will be, but I'm going to do convolvulus, I think. I'm going to do wildflowers, British wildflowers. I was just having a bit of a play. I just took one window out. But I'm really looking forward to that. And I've also got a couple of pictures of the Abbey, and that's inspired me even more, because I love the fact that I can actually take a real place that I've taken the photograph of. And I did take some of the, this is another one that I really love. I love this one. See if we can show this one. Oopsie, beg your pardon, done that wrong. So you can see it from the start, and you can see how I work. So I take out all the windows, take out all the roof, and I took out this section here, and I left this because I liked it. But then I started to think about it, and it got in the way. So you'll see in a minute, I take it out. So it's always quite good to do that. Take out bits you like and play with it. If it doesn't work, you can always take out more. But I would do this on a different level, on layers. So you can work on layers. So I now work on layers. When I did this one. So I have a layer, which is the photograph, and I call it photograph there. And then I create another layer, and I call it the background or black ground. And that's where I take out all the darks and decide where I want things. And then I have the next layer is painting. Oh, sorry, the next layer is drawing. That's when I draw in all these ivies and squirrels and where things will be overtaking and roots and things like that and branches. And then the painting are the leaves and the finishing touches and the highlights and the lowlights. So that's taught me to work in layers. And then if I do decide I want to go back and think, actually, you know, I wish I'd not taken that one out, I can go back and I can rub it out. If I hadn't created layers, I would rub the photograph out and I would rub everything out, just end up with white. So there's going to be quite a lot of that, because these splints have got to be on for 2 weeks. So the digital space will be increasing. So I have taken quite a few photographs of that. And of course, I've done put my drawings in as well. So you can photograph, I can photograph my art and then color it in. So again, that's another thing that I'm playing with. And it's easier as well. Absolutely loved this. Absolutely. There's me doing my Adam Ant impersonation. Looking for a photograph. So I really liked playing in Painter. So my digital art is getting a little bit better. But I did take some photographs of the Abbey. The Wrestle Castle. So again, I could use this and kind of really darken this and use Wrestle Castle. This was the enactment. They opened the castle up and they were having a bit of it. The cannon was going off as well. I'll show a bit of that maybe later. So I've got these gorgeous photographs that I've taken that I can kind of think, right, okay, then there's no roof on it, but we'll blacken it out anyway. So it's already derelict. Oh, that's the old woman sitting painting. gosh, I was having a bad day that day. I was having a grumpy day. My daughter took my camera and she took these beautiful photographs. So I think that could be on a painting soon as well. So she borrowed my Canon 200. I think it's a Canon Rebel. So this is Wrestle Castle. Did a few sketches, a few watercolors, and I spent ages watercoloring this window here. And I was a bit cross with myself because I kind of worked all day. And I did this one from a photograph before I went as a practice because I've not painted for ages. So I did a bit of a practice just to see, and these are the Winsor & Newton watercolors. So I did a couple of sketches of the castle, just to see, get a little bit of detail going. To use with the watercolors, that's what I was going to do. And I got obsessed with this window in the bottom corner because the colors were just, oh, sorry, we found a sooty. Sorry, that's a bungle in his hammock. He hangs off his hammock. He hangs off his hammock now, Sooty. And I got a couple of drawings that I thought, well, they're okay to start with. And I spent about hours and hours doing this window because of the shadows. There was just something about this particular open window. So I had a bit of a play. It was nice to sit under a tree and do. So we've got pictures of Betsy. This is Betsy Doodles. She's looking a little bit happier with herself. Just a little bit happier. Not too much. She's still a grump pace. She's still grumpy. And she loves it in her little box. And she's in the lounge and she sits there. And he hangs on the hammock at the top. So she's in the box at the bottom. And he's wobbling it. And he's got a new pill, which has to be cut into 20ths. So there she is. I'm in my little Heidi's back, Mama. Then we've got some new kids on the block. These are the new babies. Again, I like this one as a portrait because of the reflections in the eyes. I think that is just so cute. I can't turn it around because it's not in Procreate. I just think that is so cute. She's peeping out with her claws, look, having a play. So I really think that's lovely. And I love the fact that they're on there. There are, if you want to go on the Goole Facebook site, Goole and District Facebook site. Oopsie. There's a little girl still to go. She's got beautiful eyes. Again, that's maybe another portrait because of the little pink nose and the reflection in the eyes. Reflection in those eyes are beautiful as well. I've got this thing about eyes. There she is again, look. She just has the most amazing eyes. So she's just gorgeous. She's just gorgeous. Just love that picture.